We like to think we're logical, right? That everything has an explanation. My family, we're probably the biggest skeptics you'll ever meet, but sometimes things happen that make you question everything you thought you knew, things you just can't explain. These stories are about those times. The first happened back in middle school, seventh grade. It was the start of a new year. I came home from school, went straight to my bedroom, put in my earbuds, and settled in to watch videos. My mom called to say my brother was leaving soon to go to a friend's house. My parents worked late, so that meant I'd be home alone. I was a quiet kid when no one was around. I always had this fear that if I didn't make much noise, maybe someone hiding in the house couldn't find me. Who knew that worry might have had a reason? I paused my video and headed to the bathroom. Our house had a weird setup, hard to explain fully, but the key part was this. Stepping out of the bathroom door, a left took you down a short hall to my brother's room. A right led to the stairway going down. We had an alarm system. It would announce out loud if a door or window opened. I was in the bathroom, about to flush, when I heard a loud thud from my brother's room. I figured he must be getting ready to leave, maybe knocked something over. I flushed, washed my hands, but then nothing. Silence. The house felt still, but I felt like I was being listened to. Something felt wrong. My stomach started to ache from fear. I told myself I was just being paranoid, but I couldn't shake that weird feeling. I waited for another noise. I didn't have my phone. The house phone in there made loud dialing sounds, too risky. Then I heard it, talking. It was definitely coming from my brother's room. This was not my brother talking. It was not my dad. The muttering was deep and low. It sent shivers down my spine. I could tell it was a voice. I heard S&T sounds. I couldn't understand a word it said. Then a new sound started, a slow, heavy pounding noise. It started getting closer to the bathroom. It came out of my brother's room. It slowly made its way towards the bathroom door. It stopped dead right at the door. My heart leaped into my throat. I threw myself away from the door, near the window. I hoped if it broke in I could get away. I couldn't fight whoever or whatever it was. I was a weak seventh grader. That was out of the question. I covered my mouth to keep from breathing loudly. This was just in case they didn't know I was in the bathroom. They continued to walk. I heard them making their way to the stairway. Then it stopped. I heard a loud crashing noise. I thought it was from the middle platform of the stairs. Then again at the bottom. Then the muttering stopped. The loud pounding made its way back to the door. My door, I heard the door open. Then it closed. I heard the house alarm announce that the front door had been used. I didn't know if it was safe to move. I slowly went to the door. I put my hands on the doorknob. I still covered my mouth. To the left, near the floor, we had a laundry chute. It went down to the laundry room. Getting from the main floor to the laundry room would take someone at least 30 seconds, about 10 seconds after the front door opened and closed. A vicious jabbing noise started pounding at the small laundry chute door. I stood there frozen. I was not sure what to do. It sounded like someone took the end of a broom or stick. They reached up there to stab at the door. I watched the pounding make the small laundry chute door vibrate. I prayed it wouldn't break open. Then it ended. I waited in the bathroom for what seemed like forever. Then I quietly crept to my room to call my parents. No one picked up. I waited for them to get home. I held my door handle tight. I did not have a lock on it. When my parents got home, they did not believe me. Later, my brother came home. He doubted me too. Telling him the story, seeing his mouth drop, was something. He told me he used to hear things come from the attic door in his bedroom. I will never forget that day. My brother and I can't figure out who or what it was. I still don't know what really happened. I may never know. I want to, though. Changing gears completely. Let's go to the city. The Bronx, New York. My name is Alyssa. I was 16 at the time. I lived with my mom in a not-so-great apartment. Living in the Bronx was an experience. It was not always a good one. Sketchy people were always around. Walking alone at night was scary. Our apartment was small. The neighbors, some were creepy. Our apartment was the second to last on the 7th floor. Our neighbor, the guy in the last apartment down the hall, seemed to always be sitting outside his door. He sat on the windowsill. He would always make a point of looking at me when I came home. This was even when I was with my mom. My mom told me to stay away from him. We did not even know his name. He was a black man in his 60s. He did not have much hair left. What he had was gray. He always had the same blank look on his face when he watched me. Then one day it started. Every time I saw him in the hall, he'd say hi to me. He'd call me by my name. This made it even more creepy. I had no idea how he got my name. I never asked. One night, my mom was working the night shift. I was home alone all night. I came home late. Around p.m. the neighbor was there, sitting on that windowsill like always. As I unlocked the door, this time he did not just say hi. He asked if my mom was working tonight. This is where I look back and feel stupid. I foolishly nodded yes. He did not say anything else. He just slowly nodded his head. I did not say anything either. I simply walked inside and shut the door. I'd had enough of his creepy self for one night. Basically, after getting home, I did the usual stuff. I washed up a little. I had a snack. I did laundry. I took a shower. As I was in the shower, I heard a weird grumbling noise. It was concerning. I could not figure out what it could be. I got out of the shower after hearing it. I worried someone might be in the apartment. I heard a similar noise outside the bathroom. It seemed to come from my bedroom. I fast threw on the clothes I had with me. I searched my whole room. No one was there. While searching, I saw a very small hole in the wall. I got closer to touch it and look. I got down on my knees to look through it. When I saw what was on the other side, I fell backwards. I was so scared by what I saw. It was someone's eye. Someone was actually looking through that hole from the other side. I realized. This wall separated our apartment from the creepy neighbor's apartment. Then I had a sudden terrible idea. That sound I heard in the bathroom. What was that? I ran back to the shower. I felt all around the wall. I found another hole. It was the same size as the one in my room. The neighbor had drilled these two holes. Maybe more, just to spy on me. I called my mom. My voice was shaking. I told her what I found. As I was on the phone with her, there were knocks on the apartment door. It was the neighbor. He kept yelling, "Open the door right now." I didn't drill those holes. My mom freaked out. She told me to call the cops right away. She said she was rushing home as fast as she could. One good thing about the Bronx police. Their response time is fast. Cops were at my door in under 5 minutes. My mom was home about half an hour later. She pressed charges for stalking, invasion of privacy, and criminal mischief. The apartment building also kicked the man out. They patched up the holes using his money. Finally, let's talk about the time things went terrifyingly wrong on a camping trip. My friend Hal and I went camping. Hal is an Eagle Scout and loves nature. He's always going on camping trips. One time I decided to go along to see what it was about. His girlfriend Maya went with us. I got a last-minute invite. We carpooled. Driving 3 hours to get there, Hal does not like normal campsites. He says it does not feel like real camping with other people around, so he took us to a random dirt trail off some dead road he knew about. He drove down this dirt road in the woods for a couple minutes. Then he seemed happy with where we were. He put the car in park. It was such an ordinary place to stop. I did not even realize at first we were getting out. Hal unloaded the trunk. We brought tents, sleeping bags, food, toilet paper, first aid stuff. Hal said he usually packed lighter. He said he was making this trip easy for me and Maya, whatever that meant. Once we found a good place to set up camp, Hal basically gave us tasks. Setting up a tent was something I knew how to do, Hal told me to set up the 2 tents. Maya stayed behind. She helped me with the tents. She also unpacked supplies. Hal went off to find dry firewood. He'd come back now and then with some pieces. Nightfall came faster than we expected. Good thing Hal had collected enough wood to start a good fire by then. The tents were up. We sat by the fire, drinking and remembering old times. Most of these stories were from before Maya. I guess she got tired of hearing drunken, silly stories. She went to her tent before Hal and I, so Hal and I stayed up a little longer. We spoke quieter. We laughed less to be nice to Maya. I finished my last beer. I was feeling it by then. We talked a bit more. That's when Hal told me to shush and listen. I heard it too. There was walking out in the distance. This was beyond where the firelight reached. Hal told me it was likely a deer. I asked, maybe a bit foolishly, what if it's a bear? He told me a bear would not come this close to a campfire or people sounds. I asked if he was sure. He did not answer. The footsteps seemed to be going in circles. They got just a little louder minute by minute. When the footsteps got close enough, we started to hear a disturbing noise. It was like a clicking, growling type of noise. Is that a wolf? I whispered. Hal did not answer. He just motioned for me to get into the tent. I did what he said. I got into the tent I'd set up for myself. I think Hal got into the tent for him. And Maya, the clicking noise outside was getting clearer and clearer. It was obvious it was not the sound of a wolf or a bear. It was not any animal I could think of. It did not even sound like something from this planet. The light from the fire cast a strange glow onto the walls of the tents. I had to cover my mouth so I would not scream. Then I saw the shadow on the tent wall. Some horrific, huge, bipedal thing walking past my tent. The footsteps were so slow, but so heavy, it moved away from my tent. It went towards Hal and Maya's tent. The next thing I remember, besides waiting in total horror, was Maya's scream. She screamed like something was about to kill her. I did not know what was happening. I heard Hal screaming outside, "Run!" Over and over, I heard the two of them hurrying away outside, so I rushed out and followed. We ran in the pitch black, no flashlights, nothing. We knew something was chasing us. Footsteps followed close behind me. I was in the back. By some miracle, Hal managed to lead us right back to the car. We did not look back. We all got into our seats. Hal floored it down the trail. He drove down the dirt trail for about half a minute. Then we came to a dead end. He had to somehow turn this pickup truck around in this dark forest. It was not far from where we were just chased. I told him to turn off the lights so whatever was chasing us would not see us. He insisted he needed the lights on. This was so he would not hit any trees trying to turn the truck around. He shifted from drive to reverse, over and over. I sat in the back seat. I was biting my nails. I was clenching my teeth. I looked out into the woods. I was terrified I might see that thing from our campsite. At long last, Hal got the truck turned all the way around. He stepped on it again, too. Get us out of that forest. We left everything at that campsite, at least $100 worth of equipment. There was zero chance of us ever going back. What caused Maya to scream was heavy breathing. Something was pushing into their tent. It was trying to rip it open. Hal still says he's never heard or seen anything like that in his life. He still has no idea what it could have been. It definitely walked on two legs. How do we know it wasn't a person? Just look at its size and the noises it made. I think everyone has one truly horrific, unexplainable experience in their lives. That was ours. These stories challenge everything we think we know about safety and reality. They show that sometimes the scariest things are the ones you can't explain, the ones that happen in the quietest moments or the places you thought were safest. They make you wonder, don't they? What else is out there? What else can happen, even when you're home alone or just trying to have a quiet night?